On today's episode of Rifleman Adventures, we are going to do things a little different than going out and having an adventure. For Christmas, my dad and mom gifted me a new tackle box that I've been needing for a little while. And they got me the Evolution Fishing Drift Series tackle box backpack, which I'm super excited about this. I had a backpack tackle box for the last few years. It was a cheap one. It finally fell apart and it had a lot of things I did not like. And right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of features on this that I think I'm really gonna like. So I'm gonna do a breakdown of this tackle box itself, and then I'm gonna pull out all my fishing gear that's scattered through a few different backpacks and tackle boxes. And we're gonna get it all to fit in here, and I'm going to show you guys how much can fit in here and what my initial thoughts are of this backpack. And in the next few videos that I'll post about fishing or any adventure, I'm going to do a review of this backpack, and actually once I get to use it and test it out, I'll give you guys some more insight in those videos on how I'm actually liking this backpack. But right off the bat, I think I'm going to really like this one. So I'm going to set up a little table here where we may just sit on the ground, and we are going to pull out all my gear, and Luca and I, and maybe Ivy, are going to go through all my gear, throw away some of the old stuff, and figure out what I want to put into this pack. So a little closer view of this bag before I start tearing into it and loading it up with stuff. I just want to point out some of the things I liked right off the bat. So in my last backpack, there was no opening here. I had one big zipper that you had to unzip the whole thing in order to slide out your tackle boxes, and it only fit 3 tackle boxes, which I do a ton of different kinds of fishing. So I have tons of different tackle boxes for tons of different species. But this one comes with 6 tackle boxes down here that are super easy access. All you have to do is unclip the latch there, and they just slide right out. So I think I'm really gonna like this. It should help me keep stuff a lot more organized out on the lakes when fishing. So that's one of the main features I like about this bag. The other things I like are these big oversized pockets on all sides of this. We have 2 on this side, 1 big one across the front here, 2 more on this side, and then 1 big one up here on top. The one downside I see already to it is on the heavier side. My last backpack was not quite this heavy, but it also wasn't this big and this nice. So there's some give and take there with having nicer quality material that can hold up longer. I think you have to have a little heavier backpack. But just in general, there's a quick look at it, and now we are going to tear into this and pull out my old gear, and we're going to fill this sucker up. So I'm going to show you guys what my current situation is as far as where I'm keeping my tackle. Like I said, I had a tackle box backpack that broke on me probably earlier this year, and I had another fishing bag that I've been using, but just it hasn't worked great. It's actually a fly fishing bag, and I'm trying to use it for just regular fishing, and it is not set up that way. So I'm going to show you guys where my gear is distributed, and every time I have to go fishing, I'm always going through all of my stuff to try and figure out what boxes I need, what tackle I need, and trying to shift it all around, and it's just been a huge pain in the butt. So this first bag, I love this bag, but it is 100% meant for fly fishing, so I get it's not a great bag for what I'm trying to do. And I'm actually really excited to put all my fly fishing gear back in this, because once spring comes around, I really start doing a lot more fly fishing than spin fishing. But this is my Simms bag, and it's a great bag. It has a lot of features for fly fishing, but as far as spin fishing, it is really hard. I think I have 2 tackle boxes. I don't really know what you call them, but the inserts. I can fit 2 of them in here, and that's about it, with a little bit of other gear shoved in all these pockets. But it's been a good bag, super lightweight. I just can't fit a lot of stuff in here. So this is the main bag I have been using for the past few months. But because I have so much gear that doesn't fit in there, I've also resorted to just using a Columbia backpack I have laying around that can fit a bunch of stuff. It's just very basic, and it's a pain in the butt trying to go through both of these to figure out which one I need more of or switching gear around. So great backpack, but not meant for fishing. Can hold a lot of stuff. but not really feasible. Last thing I have is, this is actually my steelhead setup for when I go steelhead fishing. Just because we're fishing close to trucks and we're just driving the salmon river. So for easy access, I just have a crate that has all my tackle in here. Just a bunch of random stuff, but I've started resorting to use this just for my day-to-day fishing as a placeholder to throw everything in. That way I can see stuff before I hit the water and know I'm not forgetting the gear I want. So great for keeping in your truck, great for throwing stuff in and being able to see it, but trying to carry this down to the water with rods and watching him is just doesn't work at all. So between all three of these bags, I am going to try and fit everything I need. Besides mainly like steelhead stuff I only do once or twice a year, I'll still keep out of it, but all my day-to-day fishing I'm gonna get to fit in this bag. So I gotta go through all this stuff. It's a mess. I just throw gear in because we try and get off the water as fast as we can, and just hooks are in random places. Everything's messed up. So I'm going to first organize everything, get rid of the old stuff, and then we're gonna put everything back in this new tackle box bag. So first up, I'm gonna start by taking everything out of my crate. Here's some line, 2 tackle box, some latex gloves I keep on hand, more steelhead setups, some scissors. All right, so next up is my main fishing bag I've been using, my pliers. And here I got just an assortment of bobbers. I don't know how many we're gonna pull out of here. Luca fishes a lot with bobbers, so I like to keep a lot on hand. Different kinds that he's picked out, some we found on the shore. So there's just a ton of bobbers. A random assortment of just about everything. It's mainly like my bait fishing box, but it's got jigs in there. It's got rocks that Lucas picked up. It's got a lot of junk in there that we need to go through. I don't know how common this is. Everyone that I go fishing with is always making fun of me or wondering why I have this, but this is a large hypodermic needle I got. The reason I use it, and you haven't seen it in a video yet, is I like to float worms off the bottom depending on where I'm fishing. So when I put a worm on the hook, I can actually inject it with air inside the worm, and it keeps it floating off the bottom 6 inches or so, and just puts it right in that strike zone. Especially for catfish, I've noticed if you put air in them to make them float, I seem to get a lot more bites that way. So there's a little secret. I don't know how many guys do that, but I have found that it is killer, especially springtime fishing for catfish. I use this every single chance I can, and I catch a lot of fish doing this, and I've put it to the test. I fished one worm on the bottom just normal, and one worm with air inside of it floating off the bottom, and for whatever reason I catch a lot more fish when I do that. So I always keep this in my pack. Here's some streamers for fly fishing, so I'm going to throw that on my fly fishing pack. Some toilet paper, because you never know when this guy here needs to use the bathroom, and let's be honest, sometimes I have to go too. So always keep some toilet paper in my fishing bags. So we're going to start with what I've been using the most right now. We've been doing a lot of, bait fishing with worms. So using worms, worm hooks, split shot sinkers, anything of that sort. This is what I had dedicated to it, but it's all jumbled up right now. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to pull stuff out of this packaging, and we are going to transfer it to the new case. I have a bag here. Anything that's rusted out or old, I'm just tossing it. I don't even want it anymore. It's the perfect time to go through this tackle and figure out what I have that's good and what I need to maybe stock up on and get rid of all the bad. So we're gonna start with our bait box first. Just right off the bat, I just have so much junk in here. I mean, just giant lures that I don't use that often for different species. So I'm just gonna set these up here for now. I have a bunch of these jigs that don't have heads on them, but most of them don't have a head because they've torn off from being used. I don't know why I keep them, so they're going in the trash. So the other problem I have in all my tackle boxes is I just have jumbled up messes of hooks. All different sizes, trebles, worm hooks, egg hooks, just everything. So I'm actually gonna pull all these apart and we're gonna divide them all up, have everything nice and organized for this new fishing bag. So there's a good start. This tackle box is pretty much cleaned out. I got some random jigs here and lures that I'm just gonna leave on the lid, so when I get to that tackle box I can go through all this stuff and move it into its right location. So this one is my jig box, which as you can see is a disaster.
I could jig this.
So save that one but throw that one away.
Okay.
Good job, buddy. So one thing I keep in my tackle box, which I haven't used in years luckily, but it has come in handy before, is you can buy these kits at Walmart or on Amazon, but it's a replacement tip of a rod. So it has the eye at the end of a rod. In case it snaps while you're fishing, it comes with like a stick of glue, kind of like a glue stick, or a hot glue gun stick that if you have a lighter, you can melt it and actually slide this tip on and fix your broken rod out in the field. It's not perfect, but it has kept me on the water a little longer when I have broken a rod, so I keep it in there just to be safe. Next up is just a mixture of every kind of fishing you can think of. So I took a short little break and now I'm back. We ate some dinner, I got the kids put to bed, and now I can finish up this video. So I want to first show you guys my backpack. Everything I put that's loose in here first, kind of show you what I have in here, how I put together this backpack, and then we'll go over my tackle boxes and then we'll put it all together and I'll give you guys a final look at it. So starting right off the bat, we have a spot for my pliers right here. I do want to call out this thing. I just got this for Christmas from my dad also. It's for fly fishing, but I'm going to stick it on here for now. It's just a little magnetic plate, so you can throw flies on here or hooks that you're not using at the time and don't want to put away. So super sweet. I haven't used it yet, but I've just thrown a couple hooks on it to see how strong it is, and it is strong. And the way it connects is just, it has this metal back piece and it has magnets here. So on my bag, I'm just putting it right here on this mesh pocket, and it just goes on just like that. Super easy. Don't know if I'll use it that much. I may put it on my fly fishing bag. I'll use it there a lot more, but for now I'll stick it on here. I have my knife down here. The other cool feature about this, which I don't know if you'll be able to see very well, is right here in this pocket there is actually a little spot where you can stick line through it and actually spool a rod with your spool of line still in the pocket. This top pocket actually is going to come in handy too. Huge pocket. It's about 4 inches deep, 5 inches deep. The top kind of sticks up another ½ inch or so, and this is where I'm going to keep all my GoPro gear for when I'm going out. Like, I am so excited about this pocket, to be able to put like my GoPro case with batteries, SD cards, everything I need protected in here, and actually have some room for it. All right, you guys, so I finally got all my gear put in it. I showed you guys the tackle boxes. I put everything back together, and let's take a look at this bag one more time. So right off the bat, these fit so nicely in here. One thing I didn't point out is actually on the front of the actual tackle boxes, you can actually write, there's a label on here, you can write what you have in that tackle box, which I'm going to mess with it a little bit first before I do that, but it's a sweet option. I haven't seen that on another bag, so I'm excited to try that out. It'll make it easier than trying to pull out 3 or 4 different ones, trying to figure out which box you're pulling. But overall, it's a little on the heavier side, but I have a lot of gear in there, especially a lot of weights, so It's kind of my fault it's that heavy, but it's really not that bad. Once again, the material on this is super, super durable feeling. I really just can't wait to get out and use it. Once I have a couple trips under my belt with this out on the water, I'll give you guys a more in-depth review of what I think. Really, there's not much to a backpack tackle box. It's more the functionality of how fast I can get my gear out, how I can find my gear, and keeping things organized and how long it lasts, as far as the durability of it. So I'll let you guys know what I think about it in some future videos, but just right off the bat, I think it's going to be an awesome bag. I'm really excited to use it, and I think it's going to last a really long time. Like always, if you like this video and want to see more, make sure you hit the like button down at the bottom and subscribe. I'm trying to put out videos every week. I'm shooting for 2 videos a week, but at least 1 for now until, you know, things slow down and I can actually go out and do some more adventures for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.